The galaxy had a name for it. Zerathium extract. Across 100 systems it was whispered about with fear. One drop could melt through the strongest organic tissue in minutes. Entire fleets had been wiped out in covert experiments. Warships avoided planets where it grew naturally. For every alien civilization, Zerathium was a poison of legends. A weapon, a hazard, a taboo. Humans, however, were just arriving. They had stepped into the galactic stage not with fleets of warships, but with curiosity, hunger, and a willingness to try the impossible. Captain Mara Lopez of the human freighter Horizon's Edge had been stationed at Zerel 9 for weeks, delivering food supplies and mechanical parts. The planet was known for its rich trade markets and for a special dangerous commodity, Zerathium extract. It was a red powder, glowing faintly under the dim market lights. Alien merchants guarded it fiercely, their claws twitching at any human who came too close. "You do not touch," one grumbled, its tentacles coiling around the crate. "This will kill you instantly." Mara tilted her head, studying it. "Really?" she asked. Humans had survived worse. Radiation storms, frozen planets, acid rain. The list went on. She was sure somehow she could survive this too. She glanced at her companion, Dr. Eli Chen, a biochemist who had come along to study alien food sources and natural compounds. "We should stay away," Eli whispered, adjusting his goggles. "Even a tiny particle can be lethal. We can't take risks with this." Mara laughed softly. "That's what makes it fun." Fun was not a word the alien traders understood. They simply growled and waved humans away. Still, human curiosity could not be contained. Eli sighed but followed her, notebook ready. They had permission to observe, not to touch, but observation often led to experimentation. A week later, in a secret lab on the ship, Eli carefully examined the Zerathium samples. He had isolated microgram amounts, so small they were nearly invisible. The lab was sterile, metal-lined and equipped with biohazard shields. Even so, he wore a full suit, worried that a single misstep could be fatal. Mara entered with her usual grin. "So, genius, what happens if a human tries this?" Eli froze. "You don't. One particle could—" "Relax," Mara interrupted. "I'm not going to dump a pile in my mouth. Just a tiny taste." "Like a spice," Eli frowned. "It's not a spice. It's lethal. Even the smallest exposure can cause tissue damage. Your enzymes aren't adapted to this. You could—" Mara held up her hand. "I know my limits. Humans are tougher than they look." Despite himself, Eli agreed to a tiny experiment. Using a high-precision atomizer, he dispersed an almost invisible trace of Zerathium onto a tiny piece of food, a synthetic bread square. Mara picked it up with careful fingers, staring at it. The smell was strange, metallic, faintly sweet, almost enticing. She ate it in one bite. Nothing happened. For a moment, Eli panicked. Then he realized Mara's eyes were wide, not with fear, but excitement. Her cheeks flushed and her senses seemed to sharpen. She gasped, "Eli, I can feel everything. My taste buds, my nerves. It's amazing." Eli's jaw dropped. "You survived?" Mara nodded, grinning. "More than survived. It's like a firework in my body." They spent hours experimenting in the lab, carefully increasing doses under Eli's supervision. Every time, Mara's body reacted with energy, heat, and heightened senses, but no tissue damage. It was as if humans had an enzyme nobody else in the galaxy possessed, neutralizing Zerathium before it could harm them. Word spread among the humans on the station. Soon, chefs and scientists began experimenting together, combining cooking and biochemistry. They discovered the thrill of spicy food. Even minimal doses produced excitement, euphoria, and energy boosts. To aliens, it was impossible. To humans, it was enjoyable. Back in the markets, alien traders noticed something strange. Humans were buying Zerathium not for weapons, not for experiments, but for food. They sprinkled it on synthetic meats, fermented fruits, and even alien grains. Where a single particle could kill a Zerelian or a Trask, humans thrived. Mara's freighter became a hub of culinary innovation. Aliens could not understand it. "Why do they risk death for taste?" one merchant asked, shaking its head. "They are different," another replied. "Dangerous, maybe. Insane, definitely." The first humans to publicly eat Zerathium-spiced dishes did so in small gatherings. Crew members of different ships shared meals, laughing as their tongues burned in a way aliens could never tolerate. Patrons from other species would watch in horror as humans chowed down on red-hot dishes, their faces flushed, eyes watering, but smiling. "It's incredible," Mara said, holding a glowing plate. "They call it poison. We call it spice." The human audacity became legendary. Soon, word reached the galactic authorities. An emergency meeting convened in the Interstellar Council. Ambassadors of dozens of species demanded explanations. Humans were known for their strange survival capabilities, but this was unprecedented. A human diplomat, Commander Jace Harper, addressed the council. "We are not trying to weaponize Zerathium. We simply enjoy it as food. Our bodies can tolerate it. It's safe for us in controlled amounts." The aliens were incredulous. "Controlled amounts?" A council member hissed. "One mistake, one particle. Your entire crew could be dead. And yet, you survive?" Harper nodded. "Exactly. That's humans." Back on Zerel 9, the cultural impact of spicy food spread like wildfire. Cafes and restaurants on stations serving humans began offering Zerathium specials. Aliens often tried to mimic the dishes but failed spectacularly, retreating in agony. The humans laughed, proud of their unusual tolerance. Eli, ever the scientist, documented everything. "Your bodies are remarkable," he told Mara. "This enzyme, whatever it is, breaks down the toxins faster than the body is harmed. No other species has anything like it." Mara shrugged, tasting another spicy dish. "Maybe humans are just built to survive the impossible." "We're not afraid." Aliens began whispering about humans in new tones, cautious, wary, even respectful. Where once humanity had been seen as a minor curiosity, now they were a species with unpredictable capabilities. They could handle poisons, endure extremes, and survive situations no one else could. Some humans even began traveling to dangerous planets, experimenting with local poisons, chemicals, and extreme foods. Each time they returned not sick or weakened, but exhilarated. Their daring became a symbol. They were fearless, audacious, and clever. Mara smiled as she watched a new group of recruits eat Zerathium-spiced dishes for the first time. They coughed, their eyes watered, but soon laughter erupted. The thrill of surviving what others could not brought them together. It was not just food, it was a rite of passage, a celebration of human resilience. Even alien scientists began studying humans with renewed interest. Diplomatic negotiations included demonstrations of spice tolerance. A human diplomat at a tense First Contact summit casually ate a Zerathium-dusted meal, while the alien delegates flinched, unable to touch it. The humans smiled, calm and unshaken. The galaxy began to learn a new truth. Humans were not fragile. They were not weak. Their ability to endure, to experiment, and to adapt made them unpredictable. And sometimes that was the deadliest strength of all. For Mara, Eli, and countless others, this was only the beginning. Zerathium, the deadliest poison known to the galaxy, had become a symbol of humanity's boldness. They did not fear it. They celebrated it. And in doing so, they reminded the galaxy that survival was not just about avoiding danger. It was about confronting it with courage, curiosity, and a little bit of fire on your tongue. And somewhere in the dark reaches of the cosmos, alien fleets and merchants whispered again about humans. They had seen many species come and go, many rise and fall, but humans were different. They laughed in the face of death, turned poison into pleasure, and survived what others could not. Zerathium extract would never be the same again. Word of the humans' strange tolerance for Zerathium spread faster than any galactic newsfeed could carry. Across star systems, ambassadors, traders, and explorers whispered about the species that could eat the deadliest poison in the galaxy, and smile. Some thought it was luck. Some thought it was mutation. Most simply avoided humans, unsure of what they were capable of. Captain Mara Lopez walked through the bustling markets of Zerel 9 with her freighter's crew. Every stall was alive with merchants selling everything from rare metals to exotic foods. Yet all eyes seemed drawn to the humans. Whispers followed them wherever they went. They survive it. They actually survive it. Mara smiled at the attention. Humans thrived on curiosity, daring, and boldness. For decades, alien civilizations had measured power in fleets, weapons, or political alliances. Humans measured power differently. Adaptability, fearlessness, and the willingness to try what no one else would. The Horizon's Edge had become famous not for firepower, but for its kitchen. Eli Chen, now renowned across the sector as the scientist who discovered humans' Zerathium tolerance, experimented daily with new recipes. Tiny amounts of the red extract, carefully measured, transformed ordinary dishes into something extraordinary. The crew laughed as taste buds burned, eyes watered, and laughter echoed in the metal halls. For humans, it was joy. For aliens, it was incomprehensible. A delegation of Trask, giant insectoid aliens with chitinous shells, approached the freighter. They were known for their strict discipline and intolerance for mistakes. Their ambassador's claws hovered nervously over a plate as Mara served a dish lightly coated with Zerathium. "This is safe for humans?" the Trask asked, its voice vibrating like a low drum. "Absolutely," Mara replied, grinning. "Try it if you dare." The Trask sniffed, touched the food delicately, and then recoiled. Its mandibles clicked sharply. "It burns. It burns like fire from the stars." It stumbled back, wings fluttering. "We cannot survive this." Mara and the crew laughed. It was not cruelty. They were simply showing the natural advantage humans had. Across the galaxy, humans had learned to thrive in ways no one else could. Where alien physiology failed, human biology adapted. Where poisons terrified, humans endured. Soon, Zerathium became more than a culinary novelty. It became a symbol of human unpredictability. Trade negotiations were spice dishes. Diplomatic dinners featured foods aliens could not touch. Battles and skirmishes did not always involve weapons. Sometimes a human diplomat would serve a dish so potent that the enemy collapsed before a single shot was fired. It was audacious, clever, and uniquely human. Eli continued to study humans. "It's incredible," he said, tasting a sample himself. "Our bodies neutralize the toxin. The enzymes work faster than the poison can damage tissue. No other species can survive this," Mara grinned. "Humans are resilient. We survive what others can't. That's why we're the galaxy's wildcard," the galaxy noticed. Reports reached the Interstellar Council, and debates erupted. Should humans be restricted? Contained? Studied? The humans simply laughed at bureaucracy. They had no fear of laws meant to control others. Their tolerance for Zerathium, like everything else about them, was a quiet rebellion against limits. On one distant trade planet, a rival species, the Vraxians, known for biochemical warfare, attempted a hostile move. They sent poisoned food as a trap during a diplomatic summit. Every alien delegate fell unconscious or collapsed from the toxic dishes. Humans, however, casually enjoyed the meals. Mara leaned back, sipping a mild Zerathium tea. She watched the chaos calmly, amused by the panic around her. Eli whispered, "They wanted to eliminate us with our own curiosity." Mara laughed. "And they failed. That's what humans do. Humans' ability to survive where others could not became a form of soft power. Alien civilizations that once considered humans weak now approached with caution. A taste of human resilience, a brush with Zerathium, was enough to remind everyone. Underestimate humans and you pay the price. The phenomenon went beyond food. Humans began experimenting with other toxic compounds across the galaxy. Alien poisons, plant-based toxins, and rare chemical substances all became part of culinary exploration. Each time humans adapted. Each time they survived and thrived. Every success was a lesson for the galaxy. Humans were extraordinary. Mara looked out at a dining hall on the horizon's edge. Crew members from dozens of star systems laughed and cried through the burn of Zerathium-laced dishes. A young recruit, barely 17 cycles old, choked at first, then learned to savor the heat. Around him, seasoned humans and alien visitors who could tolerate only traces laughed. The young recruit realized something fundamental. Humans were fearless, curious, and endlessly adaptive. Word reached distant planets that humans were planning a galactic cooking exhibition. Species that thought humans harmless now prepared for an event that could showcase human audacity. Recipes were classified, labs were secret, and chefs worked alongside scientists to ensure safety. Yet the aliens watching knew the underlying message. Humans could handle what no one else could. Humans were resilient in body and mind, and that resilience was their advantage. At the exhibition, the most powerful alien species attended. Spicy dishes were served on platters of gleaming metal. One dish, called Solar Fire, contained concentrations of Zerathium so small they were safe for humans but utterly lethal to anyone else. Aliens dared not taste it. Humans ate casually, discussing flavors, textures, and the slight rush it gave. Every bite was a display of dominance through adaptability. The exhibition ended with applause from humans and timid claps from aliens. The message was clear. Humans had mastered what was considered impossible. They were unpredictable, clever, and utterly resilient. They had turned the galaxy's deadliest poison into a source of joy, energy, and advantage. Back on the horizon's edge, Mara and Eli reflected on what had happened. "This is more than cooking," Eli said. "This is human nature. We survive, adapt, and turn danger into advantage." Mara smiled. "Exactly. We're not afraid. That's why the galaxy will never truly know what we're capable of. We laugh in the face of what others fear." As humans continued their exploration, their reputation grew. Across the stars, whispers spread. Humans could endure poisons, survive impossible conditions, and thrive where others perished. Diplomats learned caution. Traders approached with care. Warships measured the cost of conflict differently. Humans had no need for intimidation. Nature, biology, and ingenuity were already on their side. And through it all, the simple act of eating, of enjoying spicy food, became a symbol of humanity's audacity. What was once a deadly poison became a celebration. What was once feared became a display of strength. What was once avoided became an emblem of courage. In a galaxy full of dangers, humans smiled, tasted, and thrived. They had turned Zerathium extract, the galaxy's deadliest poison, into a way of life. They had done what no other species could do: face death with curiosity, survive with joy, and show the universe that human resilience was a power unmatched. Mara raised her plate in a quiet toast to her crew. "To humans," she said, "the galaxy's deadliest spice is ours to enjoy." And in the corners of the universe, alien observers nodded, whispering to one another. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were daring. Humans were extraordinary. And they had only just begun. The legend of humans, and their fearlessness with the galaxy's deadliest poison, would echo for centuries. Where others saw death, humans saw opportunity. Where others ran, humans stood. And where others feared, humans laughed. Zerathium extract, once a symbol of ultimate danger, had become a testament to what humanity could achieve. It was a simple spice, a culinary delight, and a sign that humans would endure, adapt, and thrive, no matter the challenge the galaxy threw at them.